It's Tuesday, May 30th, and time for your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Barbadians to pay more taxes as a result of today's budget presentation. A short while ago, Finance Minister Chris Sinclair announced in Parliament that the National Social Responsibility Levy, which was first introduced back in September 2016 as 2% tax on imported goods, will be increased to 10% effective July 1.
Like the VAT, it has become an efficient tool for gathering of tax revenue, but without many of the administrative and process challenges of the VAT, such as refunds and so forth and so on. It is also a preferred measure of revenue generation because it exempts critical sectors as per its original design, is charged predominantly at the port on imports, and compounds the VAT for additional coverage. It can also have a dampening impact on effects of imports, hence reducing the demand for foreign exchange, shifting consumption patterns more towards domestic consumption on production and production. In this regard, I now propose that effective July 1st, 2017, the rate of the NSRL be moved from 2% to 10%. It is anticipated that this will result in increased revenues of $291 million for full financial year and $280 million for the remaining 9 months of the current fiscal year. The expected breakdown in the contributions is projected to be NSRL $186 million, VAT $32 million, arising from the movement of the NSRL to 10%.
Government has also slapped a 2% levy on the sale of foreign exchange. That move also takes effect on July 1, while the excise tax on gasoline is to increase by 25 cents per litre and the excise tax on diesel by 24 cents per litre effective July 1. At the same time, government is moving to bring more Barbadians into the tax net. In this regard, Sinclair announced that a special task force is to be established at the Barbados Revenue Authority with a view at ensuring that all persons who are operating businesses, including the self-employed, are registered with the BRA and therefore are paying the required amount of tax. Government also announced a 6-month amnesty for those who owe outstanding taxes.
Due to numerous requests by stakeholders and a very high level of success of the last amnesty offered by government on certain taxes for which liabilities are owed, government has decided to implement an additional period during which taxpayers can benefit from the waiver of penalty and interest on taxes owed to the BRA for land tax and value-added tax. The amnesty will run from June 1st, 2017 until November 30th, 2017, and the same rules which were applicable to the last amnesty will apply in respect of this new period. Preliminary figures from the last amnesty indicate that just over 35 million Barbados dollars was collected in outstanding taxes, and on this occasion the authorities are anticipating that an additional $25 million can be raised.
The Frondo Stewart administration has also announced plans to sell off the Hilton Hotel, which is valued at approximately $100 million US.
If a successful bid is accepted, government is expecting to receive no less than 100 million Barbados dollars as net proceeds from the sale, taking into account the liquidation of existing debt liabilities attached to the property, and of course sharing some of those resources with the other shareholders who have a stake in the company. And notice I said to receive no less than, and that's a net figure. So I don't want members of the House or others to go and say that the government is selling the Hilton for $100 million. It is worth $100 million US dollars. We are not selling it for $100 million. That is what government might get or expects to get after all of the other liabilities have been taken care of. So that naturally will tell you that it will be sold for more than $100 million.
And in terms of bringing down its overall expenditure, government also plans to refinance a significant portion of its debt with a view of achieving $70 million in savings on interest expenses. Sinclair says Cabinet has also approved an across-the-board 10% cut on the recently approved estimates of expenditure for the financial year 2017-2018. The measures are aimed at assisting the government in achieving a balanced budget by raising $542 million in additional revenues. This amount would offset the current deficit, which stands at $537.6 million and will effectively lead to a small surplus of $4.4 million.
These measures in total will account for $542 million as a result of increased revenues and expenditure savings and the divestment proceeds. Therefore, with the revised deficit of $537.6 million, the new measures will effectively lead to a small fiscal surplus of 4.4 million Barbados dollars. So for the first time, Mr. Speaker, sir, in how many years I haven't counted, Barbados will move to a balanced budget with a small fiscal surplus. The balancing of the fiscal accounts will yield a primary surplus of 7.34% or $702.4 million. And that is a fairly high primary surplus for government.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for one year, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody ain't want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, the Cayman Islands now has a coalition government in place following the May 24 general election. According to Media House Cayman 27, Premier Alden McLaughlin now has 13 elected members in his government after independent Bordentown East candidate Dwayne Seymour joined his team. The latest development gives McLaughlin's government a wide majority. Seymour now joins independents Tara Rivers, Austin Harris, and CDP leader McKeever Bush, and his two members, Bernie Bush and Captain Eugene Ebanks, in the new coalition government. There is a need to implement strong tobacco control measures. That's according to the World Health Organization, who says those measures should include the banning of marketing and advertising of tobacco, raising excise taxes, among other measures. The recommendation came in the World Health Organization's first ever report, Tobacco and its Environmental Impact.
More than 7 million people die from tobacco. The economy, 1.8% of the GDP, almost $1.4 trillion, is impacted from tobacco use. And we could do a lot to reduce this burden. It damages the soil, it leads to deforestation, and has severe economic impact, which has not yet been fully documented because of lack of data, which the governments have not called upon the tobacco industry to report upon. Raising tobacco excise taxes reduces the demand for tobacco, but at the same time, governments get a lot of revenue resources to fund the health programs. So there are a number of countries which have now effectively raised tobacco excise taxes and used the money to support universal health coverage. For example, in Philippines, for example, in Costa Rica. And so we have a different model where we see double benefit just by raising tobacco taxes.
That was Dr. Vinyak Mohan Prasad, Program Manager of the Tobacco Free Initiative at the World Health Organization. And on that note, we come to the end of our news update, but there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, or you can also tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for the very latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.